I thought I would highlight today a couple interesting podcast episodes and walk through the bull and bear case for the coming year for price action. So, the first thing I wanted to highlight was Bitcoin Not Crypto's channel got on the Bitcoin mechanic who's been really pushing back hard against changing the op return limit and getting rid of that filter. And he has some interesting thoughts here. I wanted to play just a minute or two of this.
A lot of gaslighting being done with some sort of technical premise behind the whole thing of being like, look, it's just a database. That's all Bitcoin really is. And, just sort of zooming out and zooming out. And I used that analogy for being like, tricycles and jumbo jets are just transport. There's no meaningful difference, right? And it's just like gaslighting on that level. Like Bitcoin, it all starts from the human and the need to do the need to satisfy specific purposes. Bitcoin is money. That's what it's there for. And to the extent to which it can be used for stuff that isn't money is to everyone's detriment that's trying to use money. That's all. The minute you get into the technical element, it just gets lost. And this basically, I disagree with the sort of, I don't know what you'd call it really, just this arrogant class of people inside the community that want to push it in a certain direction because it's for a whole bunch of reasons, whether it's just more, you can do more, you can have more fun with more sophisticated things that you might want to fork into Bitcoin. Like there's been push for that forever, and there's always push back against it with these sort of older, more wise, conservatively minded people. Like, we don't want to do that. If you want to do that, that's go and play on one of these like toy coins like Ethereum and stuff like that. Just if you want to play, that's where you do it. We're trying to build something serious here, and people have their life savings in this thing. It's not a toy. So but then they come back with like, well, look, this doesn't really make any difference if I do that, and again, that's just, there's so much arrogance to that. So the peak of it yesterday was Peter Todd saying we might need to go above 21 million, and that's going to make all the maxis freak out. And I'm like, look, there's so much hubris to that. Like, you don't understand what goes into that. You don't just change stuff and assume you can. I know what's going to happen. I know what the ramifications of changing that variable are. I know everything. Like this, that's so arrogant to do something like that. And it might look good on paper. It might motivate more people to mine and raise the hash rate, but it's not as simple as that. You can't just you can't have central planners going, well, actually, a bit of inflation's good. You can't do that. That's literally the model we're escaping. So it's all about mentality, and all the technical changes are all downstream of these cultural shifts.
What was the actual proposal?
So go ahead and check out the rest of that video. Really interesting thoughts, and I think he's dead on when it comes to Peter Todd. Peter Todd is putting in this pull request. He also advocated for possibly using tail emissions to eat up quote-unquote lost coins to fund mining. It's like, how do you prove that these coins are lost and not just in deep storage? It's just making kind of reckless changes, and he kind of comes off like he knows better than everyone else, which, I mean, he has technical prowess, but, and this kind of spills over into his worldviews too. He's got a tweet here I wanted to show where he's literally saying that Tehran should be Tehran should be just nuked off the map. I mean, this is the guy that also doesn't mind just getting rid of the hard cap on Bitcoin. I don't know. I mean, just regardless of your politics, like nuclear apocalypse, a spillover event. Yeah, not good. Not great. Also wanted to just shout out Jack Mallers.
Yo, welcome.
If you haven't watched his latest Money Matters podcast, definitely recommend watching this one. He kind of breaks down all of his thoughts in a more linear, coherent manner and explains things really well. This, I think, was the best episode of the Money Matters podcast that he's done, so definitely check that out. Probably call it there for today. Have a good Tuesday, everybody.